NBC 25 News at 11.
A tip leads state police to a shallow grave in Iosco County. Coming up, what we're learning from investigators at the scene.
Coming up in your Storm Ready weather forecast, showers and possible thunderstorms on the way to mid-Michigan. I'll let you know when you'll need the umbrella and when you'll need the sunglasses.
I would call Bev not kind of a hero. I would call her a hero.
A boy goes missing in Saginaw County, but hours later is found in an unexpected place. And we're talking to the woman who found him. That's all coming up on NBC 25 News at 11.
Covering all of the Flint Bay region, NBC 25 News at 11 starts right now.
Happening now, Michigan State Police investigating what they believe to be a murder near Hale, Michigan, which is located north in Iosco County. NBC 25's Drew Moore has the details from the scene.
Inside the house was a crime scene of a violent crime.
Michigan State Police investigators looking for clues in this shallow grave in the backyard of this home on Snyder Trail in Plainfield Township. A tip leading authorities to this property after a woman was arrested late last night in the area.
She became very upset that she was being arrested and that two people who'd done a recent murder were getting away with it.
This morning, Michigan State Police showing up in full force.
The cadaver dog actually indicated on a very shallow grave located behind a residence.
That grave hidden beneath a doghouse on the property. Now troopers confident a 72-year-old man who lived here is dead.
We have a 20-year-old suspect in custody at the Iosco County Jail.
In this area, known more for its ski trails than crime scenes, troopers say without that tip, this could have gone unsolved forever.
This crime may have never been discovered. This did not happen last night. This actually happened quite some time ago.
Investigators say they'll be working all night. They're still here, as you can see behind me, trying to find those clues to solve what might have happened here on this property in Plainfield Township. As far as that 20-year-old suspect, he is in custody. It's unknown when charges will be filed, and we're not sure if there's any relation between the 20-year-old suspect and the man who lives on this property. Reporting from Plainfield Township, Drew Moore, NBC 25 News.
For the latest updates on this story, download the NBC 25 News app. Stay connected while you are on the go. Moving now to the weather. Here's a live look at Bay City right now and what can we expect as we head into Friday. Here's Chief Meteorologist Jamie Cagle with a first look at the forecast. Hey, Jamie.
Well, hey there, Sadie. Good evening, mid-Michigan. We do have rain coming across the lower peninsula right now. Some of you are hearing that rain as we speak. Let's take a look at the satellite radar, and you can see across our northern counties and getting into the central counties from west to east. However, notice that towards Grand Rapids, that heavier rainfall, more intense rainfall, that is expected to weaken as it continues to drift to the east, meaning we will get some light to moderate showers and the occasional clap of thunder, but certainly not expecting strong thunderstorms in the area. The temperatures very close to 70 degrees, upper 60s and low 70s. The dew points staying close to the 60-degree mark, and many of us will end up in the lower half of the 60s overnight. We do have the possibility of some thunderstorms, or at least a few claps of thunder, but nothing torrential expected in mid-Michigan for tonight. We'll talk about what to expect for tomorrow in terms of rainfall, and we'll take a look at the weekend in your Storm Ready weather forecast.
An update on a deadly shooting at a Flint Sunoco gas station last Friday. 29-year-old Andre Cannon is the man arrested for shooting 29-year-old Demetrius Pantoja. Now, Cannon faces multiple charges, including first-degree murder. He was denied bond and will be back in court August 24th. All American Pharmacy in Flint has been forced to shut its doors after getting its license suspended. The Michigan Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs recently served a complaint against the pharmacy and the pharmacist in charge, John Lind. Now, the complaint cited the pharmacy was among the highest volume dispensers in Michigan for commonly abused substances. Officials from Lara inspected the building back in May and found expired medication and mislabeled prescription drugs. According to the Michigan Pharmacists Association, to get the suspension removed, they have to go before the Board of Pharmacists. Crews are beginning to board up 11,000 vacant houses across the city of Detroit. Detroit's Mayor Mike Duggan says that the work is part of the city's blight eradication efforts. Now, this includes demolitions and rehabbing homes. Duggan's office says there's about 25,000 vacant houses in the city. A man has been taken into custody after a chase and standoff that closed I-75 near the Michigan-Ohio border for several hours. Michigan State Police say there were no injuries, and the chase started near Pontiac and ended near Luna Pier in Monroe County. Police stopped the vehicle but said the man refused to surrender and might harm himself or others. Now, they negotiated with him for several hours. State police say that during the chase, the man used Facebook Live to make threats toward officers, and at least one gun was recovered. A job fair for veterans will be held tomorrow in Flint. The Pay It Forward job fair will take place from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Flint Job Corps Center on Saginaw Street. More than 30 employers are looking for people to fill various positions. Now, the free event is hosted by the veterans of Now Nonprofit. Word is spreading throughout Chesaning that there's a new hero in their quiet village. And as you might expect, this hero wears a uniform and went above and beyond the call of duty. NBC 25's Amanda Chodnicki joins us in the studio to tell us who's there everyone's talking about and why.
Sadie, Beverly Cosin has been working for the post office for 34 years, delivering mail for 12, and never did she think she would make a delivery quite as special as the one she did yesterday, delivering a lost little boy back home. Now, 7-year-old Giordano Delgado, who walked away from his home, led police on a search for hours Wednesday. But the search ended thanks to Beverly. Beverly says she was looking on her route after police told her about the missing boy. Little did she know she would be the one to find him and that he would be basically knocking on her door.
So I got out of my vehicle and was going around to tempt the letter, and I heard a knocking on the window of the house he was found, and I looked over there and I saw a little person, so I walked up there, and here it was, a little boy with a tiger shirt on and red shorts, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is the guy that, little boy they're looking for.
Well, police say little Giordano found his way into an unlocked vacant home on the 400 block of Clark Street and made himself quite at home. He even whipped up a sandwich, according to Lieutenant Gomez. Now, Beverly tells me postal workers are truly the eyes and ears of the neighborhood, and she is just happy she was able to help reunite this boy with his mother. Live in the studio, Amanda Chodnicki, NBC 25 News.
The war of words continues between North Korea and the U.S. Next, what President Trump is saying tonight about North Korea. Plus, could U.S. relations with Cuba be in trouble? Coming up, what officials believe happened to a group of U.S. diplomats in Havana.
We are starting to see the rain move into mid-Michigan. I'll let you know how long it sticks around, what your Friday looks like, and what the weekend's looking like in your Storm Ready weather forecast.
You're watching NBC 25 News at 11 with Dave Bondy, Sadie Hughes, Chief Meteorologist Jamie Cagle, and Sports Director Tom Eschen. You're watching NBC 25 News at 11.
The United States is considering expanding joint operations with the Philippine military for the first time since 2014 to help fight and contain a growing ISIS threat that is moving into Southeast Asia. Full Measure's Cheryl Atkinson was recently in the dangerous area of the southern Philippines to report on the growing Islamic terrorist threat and why America should care.
This is the city of Zamboanga, which is under martial law as the country attempts to contain Islamic extremist violence, which has bubbled up in the region known as Mindanao.
The safest way for us to see the worst areas is accompanied by heavily armed commandos and General Lito Sobihana, who heads up a joint task force of the Philippine military. Today, they're actively working to save more than a dozen kidnap victims held by Islamic extremists. The day before, one of the general's men was shot and 6 terrorists killed.
Was the fighting yesterday related to the kidnappings or something different?
Yes, it's part of our rescue effort.
The battle actually goes back decades.
That island is the island province of Basilan. I was stationed there in the 90s, and I was even wounded in that island, seriously wounded, because I had 5 gunshot wounds all over the body, several sharp.
Fighting Abu Sayyaf.
Fighting Abu Sayyaf.
Abu Sayyaf is considered one of the most violent Islamic jihadist groups, responsible for the Philippines' worst terrorist attack, the 2004 bombing of a ferry that murdered 116 people.
Could you explain in just a sentence or two to the American audience what the fighting is about?
Well, initially, they followed the ideology of establishing Islamic independence in Mindanao.
ISIS didn't pioneer the notion of violently establishing an international Islamic state or caliphate. Muslim extremists in Mindanao have been conducting a terrorist campaign for independence since the 1970s.
We've had reports and information coming in that there's been foreign fighters from Saudi, from Yemen, etc., down in Mindanao for 4 years now.
Gene Yu is a former Green Beret with U.S. Special Forces, supporting Philippine troops fighting the terrorists. He now helps run a private security firm here.
A lot of these fighters, as they're losing ground in the Middle East, they're going to go home, right? And when they go home, it's not like they just, go to the barber shop and just go about their lives again. These guys are battle-hardened fighters or terrorists that have survived essentially the war, going head-to-head with Western military and special operations. These people are not dumb, okay? They're not incompetent fighters, right? To survive that long, only the best guys have survived that long.
Cheryl's reporting from the Philippines, and the new front on terror will be on Full Measure's first broadcast of Season 3. Now tune in September 10th at 10 a.m. right here on NBC 25. President Trump is warning North Korea to, quote, get their act together or face extraordinary trouble. This comes as North Korea doubled down on its threats to attack Guam, even releasing specific details. Now, the North Korean military saying it could launch 4 ballistic missiles in the next week, flying over Japan and Hiroshima, landing some 20 miles off Guam's coast. If North Korea launches the barrage of missiles, they could hit Guam in just 14 minutes. Now, the final order would need approval from Kim Jong-un. President Trump is officially declaring the opioid crisis a national emergency. Trump made the announcement today at his golf course in New Jersey. Now, the president said the drug crisis is a serious problem, the likes of which we've never had. A drug commission created by the president recently called for Trump to declare a national emergency. The U.S. diplomatic relationship with Cuba could be under threat due to an investigation into whether U.S. diplomats in Havana were victims of a hidden attack. U.S. government officials say the suspect American diplomats in Cuba were the target of, quote, acoustic attacks. Now, the incident started last October and left the diplomats with severe hearing loss. Now, one official said the source could have been a surveillance device placed at the Americans' Havana residence, all owned by Cuba's government. Several U.S. agencies are investigating.
Now, your certified NBC 25 Storm Ready forecast.
Good evening, Mid-Michigan. We are starting to see some showers, even some pretty good showers moving into the area as we speak. So we'll start with a look at your Storm Ready Doppler radar as well as the satellite. And you can see again, we have the cloud cover moving in, the showers also progressing across the lower peninsula from west to east. But notice, as you take a look at the loop here, the showers are weakening rather quickly as they make that trek across the lower peninsula. Some of the heavier rainfall towards the Grand Rapids area extending back towards Lake Michigan. That is also expected to weaken as it moves towards the southern counties of mid-Michigan. As we go in a little bit closer right now, you see up around Gladwin County, even the very northeast corner of Clare County, Isabella County also dealing with some pretty substantial shower activity right now. Not a lot of lightning as it makes its way into mid-Michigan and into the bigger picture. Again, area of low pressure, you can see it centered up around the Marquette area in the UP. That is moving through, and that is going to bring us a little more energy for Friday. So as you take a look at the futurecast right now and having a good handle on things, everything continues to move through. As we get to about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, we'll start out relatively dry, but into the afternoon, here comes another round of scattered rain through the area. Some embedded thunderstorms will be possible, but for the most part, we're talking about our afternoon hours. Once we get past the dinner hour, it looks like things start to really quiet down. We'll have some lingering cloud cover into Saturday, but it is looking mainly dry. For the MoCast tomorrow, again, When do you need to get things done outside? I would aim for the morning hours. As you wait closer to noon, 1, 2 o'clock, your chances of rain start to climb. Getting into the evening hours, maybe a little bit of lingering rain, but after the dinner hour, we may see something of a drying trend. But if you can get it done in the morning, that is going to be probably your best chance for the dry weather. Shiawassee County Fair tomorrow, Corona. Talking about temperatures close to 80 degrees, a lot of upper 70s, partly and mostly cloudy skies with scattered rain. For Cheeseburger in Caseville kicking off tomorrow, right around the mid 70 mark. A little bit of that west breeze will keep the temperatures a little bit into the lower end of the 70s there, and the upper 70s will be found in Millington for the Old Fashioned Summer Festival. And again, you're going to be dodging some rain into the afternoon hours. Comfort index, really not too bad. Again, when you look at August, you would expect it maybe a little bit closer to muggy or oppressive. Staying away right now as we take a look at the 7-day forecast for the weekend. As I mentioned, Saturday mainly dry, just not a great chance of showers, but could you rule out a handful of little showers popping up? No, you couldn't, but certainly don't want to convey the idea that everybody will see showers on Saturday. We're talking about a couple of showers could pop up. Models have been pretty consistent about that. Sunday looks dry. Next good chance of rain after tomorrow is next Thursday, and mid 80s are back.
All right, pretty consistent there for a while. And while you're out and about, share your photos with our burst gallery. Here's a picture of a deer from our viewer Tammy in Prescott. If you see wildlife out and about, show us what you're viewing. Share your photos and videos with NBC 25. Download our news app and click on See It, Send It. I'd like to see the deer out and about.
I was going to say that football, or the weather is perfect for football season coming up.
Got some football-like weather this weekend.
Yeah, it was a little warm at practice today, but speaking of football season, one of Flint's standout athletes could be a big part of this year's season for the Michigan State Spartans. Not only is he growing into a leadership role, but he's giving advice to other Flint athletes. Hear from him after the break.
But first, here's a look at the top stories on NBC25News.com.
Hello, I'm Mark Hyman. We've come across some recent stories that have us shaking our head. Here's what's happening behind the headlines. Ronald Reagan famously said of government's view of the economy, if it moves, tax it. Oregon proved Reagan's point. It will begin taxing bicycles like some states tax cars. Fresno Mayor Lee Brand opposes a proposed ordinance. It would allow city employees possessing a valid permit to take their concealed weapons to work. Here's the hypocrisy. Brand has a concealed carry permit, and he's been carrying his gun to work since 2008. Special counsel Robert Mueller has hired 16 lawyers so far. Mueller refuses to identify most of them. He's hired nearly as many lawyers that are in the U.S. Attorney's Office for the entire state of Rhode Island. It employs about 20. The Pentagon bought 1.4 million uniforms for the Afghanistan Army. Unfortunately, the dark forest green camouflage pattern doesn't blend with the desert landscape. There's more. Instead of using a DoD-owned camouflage pattern, Pentagon officials contracted for a privately owned pattern. This will increase costs by as much as $71 million over the next decade. To comment, go to BehindTheHeadlines.net. I'm Mark Hyman.
Game with NBC 25 Sports.
Welcome to Sports Tonight on NBC 25 News. I'm Gina Trotman in for Tom Eschen. Last week we showed you what Mark D'Antonio and his team had to say about Flint's Gerald Holmes and his growing leadership in the program. Now we hear from the man himself who sat down with Tom to talk about his role with the Spartans.
Are you enjoying that? Is that something you've been wanting to step into the last couple of years now?
Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying that. You know, it's just part of who I am. You know, a guy who leads. You know, and I want to do the best for my team. You know, and we just trying to bounce back. You know, from last year, and I feel like I'm the guy. You know, I help that happen.
What you work on the most this offseason?
It's been consistent. You know, trying to fine tune my skills. You know, from the past 2 years of me playing. You know, and just kind of put all those years together. You know, and had the best season of my life.
Yeah, then we talked to you last year about being from Flint and being that tough guy. You know, how have you seen yourself grow now these last few
few years here?
I see myself grow a lot. Like I said, taking on a big responsibility to be a leader. That's something big. I'm a senior, so that's almost coming natural, just being in the program. So I'm definitely looking forward to all that.
I feel like you've represented your hometown well here in your career at Michigan State so far.
Yeah, definitely. I always, pay dues to my city. I love back at home. So shout out to 810, saying Flint Town. But definitely, I'm a product of the city.
How has that helped you both on and off the field here at Michigan State as you grow into this person? You think that's made an impact too on who you?
Yeah, I feel like it helped me a lot. How to kind of endure things and go through certain things in my life. Like losing my mom and all that, and all that other stuff I went through. So coming here, when you kind of just dealing with like playing time or injuries or whatever, you kind of just deal with it because you've been through so much then, and you know how to overcome with it.
I think I asked you this question last year. What's the advice you give the kids now growing up in Flint?
Man, just stick to your dreams, and never let nobody tell you what you can't do. Keep working hard because things will work out for you.
Thanks, Gerald. Appreciate it.
We, of course, wish him the best of luck. Now, our next stop on our daily high school football Mid-Michigan preseason tour takes us to Frankenmuth High School, home of the Eagles.
There we go. Sprint through. Finish the drill.
The Eagles are getting ready for a new start with an appetite carrying over from last season. They finished 11-2 last year. That includes their 8-point win over perennial powerhouse Ithaca. Getting a taste of that success is leaving them hungry for more and ready to get to work.
You feel like every guy wants to be here. It's not just like, oh, I got to go to football practice. You see everybody wanting to do this stuff, and it's just special.
This is a group of kids that, put in a ton of time this off season. We're averaging 60+ kids a day, throughout the summer every day. And, this is a group that knows that they still have a lot to prove. We haven't won a game yet this year.
The Eagles open their new season on the road against Bay City Central. The Tigers unloaded on the Pirates in last night's 10-zip win. So tonight, the Pirates seeked revenge and found a vulnerable opponent in Drew Verhagen. Verhagen only making his second MLB start, and Pittsburgh took out their frustrations early. This Josh Bell 2-run shot helped the Pirates jump ahead to a 4-2 lead. Verhagen lasted not even 4 innings, allowing 9 hits, 6 runs, and 1 homer. In the bottom of the 9th, though, the Tigers did make things interesting. V-Mart doubles to score Justin Upton. James McCann would go to score Nick Castellanos as well, but 7-5 is as close as they could make it. The Tigers steal 1 game from Pittsburgh as they close the series. A 3-game homestand against Minnesota is next.
I feel like that game's kind of on me. The offense did a great job. They made a good run at it late, and if I keep the game closer, I think that we probably pull that one out. But I just didn't do my job today, really.
And the Loons are in a tight one as we speak. It's all tied up at 9s and extra innings. However, play is suspended currently in a rain delay. Tonight is the first game of a new series against the West Michigan Whitecaps.
Ooh, it could be a long night. How long can it go after the rain delay? We're talking hours, right?
Well, we'll talk about the rain coming up, right?
That's right. We've got a little bit, but right now, Gina, is when Jamie had forecasted it. If we were outside, we might know, but Jamie will know.
Hopefully Loons fans listen to him because he's right.
Yeah, he's always right. We'll be right back with Jamie's final look at your forecast.
Hey guys, Anthony Anderson is here. Terry Gross, Kesha. We're gonna play Password, and we have music from Kesha. Plus Tonight Show hashtags. Do not change the channel.
Gina was just saying that we pumped your tires, and then was explaining that means we sang your praises.
Yes. A little bit.
Yeah, saying that this weather is going to be excellent.
Pumped your tires.
Well,
so I'm here for. I'm a good friend, good co-anchor.
We're talking about the rain delay towards the Grand Rapids area there, and they will be dealing with some pretty heavy rainfall for a little while longer. For us here in mid-Michigan, we're going to get showers out of the deal, and it may take a while to get to the Flint area as it is coming in from the west. A beautiful weekend coming up, not too shabby, but we have more scattered rain tomorrow, primarily afternoon hours tomorrow.
All right. I think it was good. I think he passed.
I think so.
Thanks for joining us. Good night.